Welcome, beautiful souls, to Self-Love First. If you're new here, my name is Alicia, and I appreciate you joining in. If you feel that little pulse under your palm, that's you arriving. That's you present. Whatever you were doing 5 minutes ago, scrolling, rushing, thinking about your to-do list, let that soften away now. Because what we're going to talk about today deserves our full presence. This Saturday, August 8th, we crossed through one of the most talked about, and this year, one of the most astrologically significant thresholds of the entire year. That's called the Lionsgate portal. And I want to be very intentional with you today, because this isn't just manifestation hype type of content. This year's portal carries real astrological weight. And I want to walk with you through exactly what's happening in the sky, what might stir in your body and in your dreams, and most importantly, how to move through it consciously, not only for yourself, but for the collective healing of humanity. So let's settle in. I want you to receive it like a ritual, not just a video. Let's start at the root. Every year, between about July 28th and August 12th, the Earth, the Sun, and the star Sirius move into a specific alignment with the Giza pyramids in Egypt. Sirius is the brightest star in the night sky, outside of our own sun, that is. And it sits near the constellation Orion's Belt. To the ancient Egyptians, Sirius wasn't just a star, it was sacred. They called it a goddess, and they built their entire calendar around its rising because it predicted the annual flooding of the Nile, life-giving water timed by starlight. That's the root of why Sirius has always been associated with illumination, renewal, and divine timing. Metaphysically, we call this window the quote-unquote Lion's Gate because it happens during Leo season. And Leo, ruled by the sun itself, is the sign of the heart, of courage, of radiant self-expression. So, symbolically, this portal is often described as a rare window where the veil between the spiritual and the physical worlds grows thin. A moment where higher dimensional light and downloads are said to be more accessible to us than usual. The portal builds up gradually, and it reaches its peak on 8/8 or August 8th, before closing out around August 12th. Now, here's what makes this year different and exciting. Every Lionsgate carries the numerology of 8, and in numerology, 8 is the number of infinity, abundance, karma, and power fully embodied. You turn it sideways and you literally have the infinity symbol. But this year, when we add up the full date, 8 plus 8 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 6, we get 26. And 2 plus 6 reduces down to 8 again. That gives us what many people are calling a 888 portal. The day, the month, and the year all resonating with the same frequency. 888s also spell Jesus Christ in Greek gematria. This is rare. And energetically, it means whatever this portal is asking you to step into or away from, whether it's your worth, your power, your capacity to receive, it's all amplified. On top of that numerological layer, there's real astrology stacking up here too. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, luck, growth, and generosity. And it entered Leo back in June, and it's staying there for about a year. And on 8/8 specifically, Jupiter sits at 8 degrees of Leo, the planet of abundance, on the degree of the portal itself. Jupiter here amplifies our desire to create, to be seen, and to take up space with our gifts rather than shrink them down. And then, 4 days after the peak on the 12th, we have a total solar eclipse in Leo, which means this Lion's Gate isn't a standalone moment. It's a doorway. It's building towards something. The portal opens us, and then the eclipse seals the initiation. So when I say this year is significant, I mean that in all ways, astrologically, in numerology, multiple systems are pointing at the same message, but from different directions at the same time. That kind of convergence, if you will, doesn't happen all the time. The piece that I think is the true heart of this year's portal, and it ties directly into what I want to talk about: humanity, unifying. Just under 2 weeks ago, on the 26th of July, the moon's north node shifted signs, moving into Aquarius, while the southern node, moved into Leo. This begins a brand new 18-month growth cycle that will continue till roughly March of 2028. In astrology, the nodes describe a south level path. The south node represents what's familiar to us, what we already know, and what we already know how to do. And the north node is representing where we're being called to grow. With the south node now in Leo and the north node pulling us towards Aquarius, the symbolic invitation is amazing. We're being asked to take everything that Leo has taught us: courage, self-expression, sovereignty, the willingness to be fully seen, and then offer that outward. Aquarius is the sign of the collective, of humanitarian vision, of community, innovation, and the future that we build together. So this Lion's Gate isn't only about personal empowerment this year. It's positioned exactly at the hinge point between know your own light and bringing that light into service of the whole. There's no such thing as a coincidence. I think of it as an invitation for each of us individually and for humanity collectively to move from isolated self-focus into a more unified, heart-centered co-creation. Now, I know some of you probably feel these shifts pretty intensely, and others might barely notice a thing. And they're both completely valid. There's no right way to experience a portal. But there are some of the common ways that this kind of activation can show up. In the body, you might have waves of fatigue or bursts of restless energy. Some of you can feel warmth around your heart or in your head. Other people might have a burst of emotional release that just seems to come from nowhere. Sudden tears or old grief surfacing because it wants to be witnessed and let go. Emotionally, portals like this can bring just buried stuff to the surface before they bring clarity. If old wounds, old patterns, or limiting beliefs about your own worth or your power start showing up this week, that's not a sign that something's wrong. That's the light doing exactly what light does. Illuminating what's ready to be seen and released. In your dreams, Lionsgate season can intensify the dream activity, vivid, symbolic dreams, messages that seem to come from beyond the ordinary waking mind. Encounters with angels or higher dimensional beings, or numbers that are just appearing. If you find yourself waking up at unusual hours, or receiving a word, or an image, or a feeling that lingers with unusual clarity, write it down rather than dismiss it. Portals can speak to us most clearly through the language of symbols. And here's something I think is important. None of this needs to be forced. If this Lionsgate shows up for you as deep rest rather than an inspired burst of creativity, just trust that. Rest is not the opposite of receiving. Sometimes it's the doorway to it. Consciously set your personal intention. In your mind's eye, imagine a beam of golden white light descending from far above, from Sirius, from the sun, from the source of all light itself, entering through the crown of your head. And let it move down slowly through your third eye and your throat and settle in your heart center. Picture your heart beginning to glow, gently expanding with every breath. If you resonate with the Ascended Masters, you may even want to call in Saint Germain and the violet flame, asking that anything not aligned with your highest good, anything heavy or outdated, to be transmuted with love. Picture that violet flame moving through your entire energy field, clearing space for what's ready to be born. Silently offer an intention. I'm open to receive the light of this portal in whatever form serves my highest good. I release what no longer serves me. I welcome greater alignment with my true higher self, with my soul's purpose, and my capacity to love. And I ask that this light move through me, out into the world, in service of the healing and unification of humanity. Sit with that for a moment and let it land. Word it however it would resonate for you, and say it out loud if you'd rather. That's the practice. And you can come back to it anytime between now and August 12th, whenever you feel called to focus on it. So how do we actually work with this energy in a grounded and embodied way? Not just during a meditation, but across these coming next few days. Get outside if you can, barefoot. Grounding directly to the earth helps regulate the nervous system. I do it all the time. And definitely while you're processing higher frequency energy, just let your body discharge and recalibrate. Journal what surfaces if you want. Whether it's an old belief, a dream fragment, or sudden clarity about a direction that you want to take your life. Write it down. Portals can deliver insight faster sometimes than we can consciously track it. Notice where you've been shrinking and take one small brave action. Since the portal amplifies self-expression and self-worth, ask yourself, where have I been playing small? It doesn't have to be dramatic. It could be a conversation that you're avoiding, a boundary that you've been afraid to set, a gift that you've been hiding. Extend it outward. Given the Aquarian node shift happening right alongside this portal, there's more than just personal manifestation this year. Consider one act of genuine care for a stranger, or a donation, a kind word to someone who seems to be struggling, a moment of prayer or intention held, not just for our own lives, but for humanity's collective healing and awakening. This is where the Lion's Gate becomes something bigger than a trend, where it becomes a genuine contribution to the field that we all share. If old blocks are surfacing that feel bigger than you can process alone, this is exactly the kind of moment that the MAP method, or Make Anything Possible, was designed for. When something rises during a window like this, your nervous system is often naturally more open to reconsolidation, meaning old unconscious patterns can be gently updated and released more easily than usual. If you feel called to go deeper with that support, well, I'd love to work with you. You can find my info below. And finally, don't force it. If nothing dramatic happens for you on 8/8, you haven't missed out on anything. Energy moves through all of us differently in its own time and way. So trust your own experience over anyone else's, including mine. Whatever this Lion's Gate brings you, rest, revelation, release, or radiance, I bless you to receive it fully and to trust the timing of your own becoming. And as you move through these next few coming days, may we all remember our individual light was never meant to stay separate. It was always meant to join together into something whole, something unified, something strong enough to help heal the world that we all share. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this served you, I'd be very grateful if you would like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs it this week. I will see you next Wednesday. Until then, walk gently, lead with your heart, and as always, self-love first, always. Thank you so much for watching to the end, and you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye.